Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Capsule Cast quarterfinals edition. I'm your host, DoorGuard, and we have a special edition this week with kind of some extra members. With my co-host this week is Donut, as always,
Hello there.
and of course our first guest, the Rugrats coach, Toshiro.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
And many of you may recognize this voice. You may have heard him as a commentator as such, but our GT supporter this week is Djnuma.
Hello. How you doing?
So, with that, we have an extended special quarterfinal cast. Quarter, 4 people, works out just fine. You guys ready to get transitioning into match 1 here?
Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Donut's looking forward to this one. He may have had some special stuff happen. So, match number 2 now. Androids versus Budokai, North Kai showdown. Very big match. A lot of people hyped for this one. Both teams looking very strong at the end of the season. Super 17 and Kid Q starting it off, and Kid Q decided GT sucks and just destroyed Super 17, even hitting a rare near 16k ult. And even doing a little bit off Cell before finally getting taken down. But Cell took out all 3 of his bars, basically. Cell continuing on his rampage as he takes out early Goku, only losing about a bar and a half. And then he does half of Cyborg Tao before finally going down. Tao making a smart decision and tagging to keep 2 bars. And Enku hitting a nice 10k ult on 19. But the Clown Droid decided that clowning around is for the opponent this week and just totally grab spammed him out of the match. Nam coming in and finishing off the last bar of 19. 16 coming in and basically taking out Nam and tags with just a sliver of HP left from the returning Cyborg Tao. 17 coming in, this being considered a selfish tag because pretty much anything would have taken the last half bar of Tao at this point, giving Androids the win for round 1. So pretty entertaining match. Technically, health bar wise, Androids were very much in the league, and you could say 17 did bad, but he kind of got rest in peace tagged this week, so his stats not looking so hot. But congratulations, Cell on the elite. Budokai has some work to get done for this next round. Donut, how'd you feel about your match here?
Fantastic. For this match, I think Cell, obviously doing back-to-back elite performances is very strong from him. He's obviously our MVP for a reason in that department. This match I had especially circled, mainly because Malachi is the coach of Budokai, who is the former coach of Android, so I always have this match circled both in main season and in the playoffs now. Um, I think for the main turning point obviously was Cell, but I think the decider is actually 16 and 19. Those two pulling their weight and then some against characters we may not have expected to win against. Historically, we felt that Nam may have had an advantage over 16, and we thought that and Goku may have an advantage over 19. So we feel that that may have been a problem, but it actually turned out in our favor, which I think just solidified the win with 17, as I said, barely having to come out at all. So considering how poor Super 17 is, for us to win that convincingly by about 3-4 bars was very helpful and for us obviously going forward to know that. That's the Budokai obviously had a lot of strong performances from Kid Goku, and I think Cyber Tao did a lot of work. Honestly, I think for them they have a lot of matchup issues they have to worry about right now. Considering N Goku is struggled against 19 overall, and early Goku got shut down by Cell. I think those two, they'll have to go back to the drawing board, look at it, say, hey, well, how do we handle them, right?
Don't
And
I'm sorry.
you're fine. And so how do we handle the Cell problem, right? That's a problem that every team has had, right, this season. It's not the easiest problem to solve, but I do think they have a lot of pieces to handle us. I think Kid Goku is obviously the big factor there. I think if they can get early Goku and end spamming those ults like we know they can do, I think they could be a lot closer to this round and maybe next round as well. Toshio, what do you think?
Honestly, this match, it was real fun. At least I say of course, for Androids, but for me, because I used to be on Androids and I really love seeing you guys do well. So kind of biased to some extent.
No problem.
Honestly, Cell, I expected Cell to pop off, but not to that extent to where he gets another elite. I remember I was talking to you and maybe a few other people where I think it was you guys always said that 16 did very bad against Kid Goku, or Kid Goku just did well against you guys overall. So
Yeah.
I was kind of shocked at while he did 61K, I kind of expected him to do more, and I think that 40K against Super 17 was kind of just free because he didn't really put up much of a fight. Um, a lot of the B2s that like Cyborg Tao threw out and everything like that, it was on the right track. But if they can probably set it up more, I can probably see that doing a lot better for them overall. Um, Outside of that, I think it just comes down to matchups and everything. Like in my opinion, I think Nam can do a little bit better. If Nam went against like 19 and maybe 16 and everything, I feel like that probably would have put Budokai a little bit more so, because at least when you look at it, Nam versus 19, you don't have to worry about like rush blast or key moves being absorbed and all. Versus 16, he has a faster melee, if I recall, with that. So I think it just comes down to matchups overall with Budokai. So if they can get that down packed and the AI goes in their favor, I can definitely see them winning and again, winning it 2-1 and everything. But of course, that depends on if Cell doesn't decide to just end it all, and if the rest of your members can actually go ahead and pick up the slack. Well, continue doing their job and then some. You know, it really depends. So, DJ.
Yeah. So really, what you guys said, Cell going off, that was by all means the decider, I think, in the match. But watching Budokai try to pull it back, that was what was most entertaining for me. Like Cyborg Tao, watching him try and claw his way back through the team was kind of hilarious. But I honestly, I would have to give it to the androids. If you have such a dominating performance yet again for another week in a row, it could easily just go 2-0 to androids coming up to the next this next week. But again, if early Goku gets working, if End Goku or Nam, do their thing, it could easily be Budokai that wins. So it's really up in the air. But I feel like the androids have a lot more, I don't want to say momentum, because AI versus AI. Yeah, you guys do have the momentum. You've got killer builds, but AI can derp. We've seen it happen before. But I would give it to androids overall coming up on this, just because of how consistent that team's been and how dominant Cell's been in the last couple weeks. Keep that build. Whatever you do, just keep that build.
It's been there for 3 seasons plus now, so it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, just keep that build and everything will work.
I will say an interesting dynamic between these two teams is they both have an astounding melee user and an astounding spam user. You have Kid Ku versus Cell and Tao versus 17. So it's kind of which team has their all-stars pop off, because both have elite members, both have members that just can totally eat through a team on their own. And it's just, as we saw, Tao threw out probably more B2s than anyone in this match by far. And if just a little bit more hit, who knows where it would have turned. So
all the Dodon rays.
Yeah. To further that point, you're talking about Tao and Cell threw out the same amount of B2s, 11 apiece. But Cell hit 7 of them and Tao hit 3, right? So that's a big difference, obviously, right? Especially Dodon rays doing about 5 to 6,000, right, apiece. That adds up very fast. And to compare the B2 usages, Budokai hit 30% and androids hit 76%. So a vast difference, right? And what helped Budokai obviously is going 3 for 3 on ults. That really helped make it as close as it was. But they'll definitely have to shore up that hit rate on the B2s if they want to win, especially on the water maps that we both have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, certainly a lot of potential on both sides. Obviously, a very highly anticipated match for that very reason, and round 2 will be no different coming to it. Kind of unfortunate for Budokai that they didn't have the Zenny to get to fight for a different map, having Namek, not necessarily a bad map, but still a quote-unquote water map to a degree. So they have no reprieve to go somewhere else and then not have it. And unless Super 17 ults, there's not really a way to blow up the planet either.
Yeah.
So
And
certainly a
luckily
little
we
unfortunate.
don't have Moment Savior, so.
If you start him, he's not going to do it maybe.
Oh, well, we saw how that went last time. Whew. Ooh, that was a oof.
Yeah, that was something else.
That was
Yeah,
not to play, was it?
let's just gloss over what Super 17 did this week. The rest of the match was great.
Yeah, it was a 3v5 basically. Come on, yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, certainly a lot of potential though. But I think this will be a very fun match to watch the sequel to. We'll have to get more into
Definitely.
why one team will beat the other in the predictions later on. But at least for talking about this match, are there any other moments you guys wanted to go over?
The sad moment of 19's ult not hitting. That
Yeah.
was so close.
Okay,
So
yeah.
close.
Why'd you have to remind me?
I was so sad. If it was the direct opposite way, like did a 180, he would have hit. I was like, oh. we never see it.
I honestly, I loved watching. I just said let's gloss over it, but I loved watching Super 17 just be obliterated. That was hilarious.
Well,
Just
makes one
watch
of us.
Kid Goku come in and go whack, 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 whack. Okay, bye, Super 17.
Yeah.
Have a
Yeah,
good
it's
day.
Okay. It's fine. We'll work on him.
Well, you never get to see a Kid Goku ult, so thanks for letting us see
Yeah,
that.
sure. Yeah, no problem. You know, that's week's 19 ult.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, we didn't get 3 cell ults this week, so that's nice.
True.
No Kakarot's
ult.
for 1 bar in this match, I'll tell you what.
Nah. No Kakarot for one.
See,
Oh,
I am shocked that Cell threw out that many barrage death memes.
Yeah,
That's
he
just
spammed it.
my
it's only
favorite
like 2
moment.
bars, so
Yeah, it's 2 bars and he just gains that naturally, so it's very nice.
that and
Uh.
it tracks since even if it starts missing, it'll eventually hit. Yeah, he
Yeah.
certainly
So
has
it's-
some good times with that.
He can miss half and still do 3,000, which is solid damage, right?
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
disruption as well, right? So,
And it counts towards his stats.
hell yeah. Best play.
Yeah. Maybe
That
it'll be on
one-hit trap
genocide
shooter.
blast level of oh, it's like 90% accurate, but it does 2k, but it's 90% accurate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
It's like that's like Hellstorm, right? Same thing.
Looks at genocide blast. How you
Hey.
doing?
Yeah.
Pretty
do a
good.
+2 Kid Boo. Super Boo. Let's do it.
We'll see. Well, are you guys ready to get on to match number 2 then, the East Kai showdown?
Sure thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. East Kai, we have Grand Tour in their first playoffs and their first quarterfinals, having the bye versus Muscle for round 1. Certainly another explosive start with this match. We have 13 versus Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and really popping off from there. Vegeta hitting a rare 15k ult on 13. And he even does an early tag to regain 2 bars, and 13 also tags just narrowly at his last bar. So now we have Broly on his rare, I think we saw it in week 1 and 2 ult spam build versus Sin. Gotta really feel bad for Sin Shenron. Broly hits a 15k ult, then Kakarot's for 1 bar, hits another ult for 12k, then Kakarot's for 1 bar, and takes out Shin Shenron, still with his ult ready. Then he hits another 16k ult after, you guessed it, a 1 bar Kakarot before tagging with 2 bars left. So if you want something else to spam in chat, 1 bar Kakarot needs its own meme at this point, because that's just not even fun. And with that, and it's an explosive wave ult. Come on, man. And then we go into Bojack, who finishes off GT Goku, who unfortunately after eating a 16k ult gets hit by another 15k ult from Bojack. Pan comes in and, despite being in red shirt, decides that it's the embodiment of blue shirt due to being colorblind, and just totally spams Bojack to death. And even takes out a good chunk of Roshi before tagging with just like the most sliver of HP left. Roshi, or Jackie Chun as the costume they have, tags at his last sliver as well. So we have Broly re-entering against Baby, and Baby finally takes out the green menace. No more Kakarots for 1 bar before Baby tags himself. So Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta coming back, still hasn't gone down, finishes off the last bar of Roshi and the last bar of 13. And then he even wins a 12k beam clash against Super Trunks before finally going down. So basically a 1 bar Trunks against Pan, who just hits him with a Kamehameha to the face. to seal it for round 1 for GT. So very interesting match. Certainly not as close, and another crazy amount of build swaps with Melee Trunks back, going with the crazy ult spam build Broly. Roshi and Bojack and 13 staying on their same things, but Sin getting destroyed by 1-bar Kakarot's. Not even the ults at this point. It was just the B1 killed him. And then obviously Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta popping off with his ults. Just an excellent first match for the team. And Baby really didn't even have to do much work, only dealing 20k this week. So will be very interesting to see the build swaps for Muscle coming into round 2. But good job on GT taking round 1 here. Donut, how'd you feel about this East Kai battle?
It went how I thought in the sense of GT winning the first round, but not by who I thought would win it for them. I thought Baby would win it for them because of how strong that character is, as we've seen in the past. But Pan is the savior for GT this week for sure. 7 of 8 on B2s and attached. So that's very, very clutch from her. And I'm sitting here thinking like, well, what could have Muscle done differently? Obviously some build changes, right? But it's really just almost an overperformance from Pan, and that's how that difference there from what we expect her to do, like what 20 to 30,000, right? Doing 85,000, which definitely is more than her weight, and that kind of was the big seesaw there, or the big thing that brought Camel's back. And Muscle had a lot going for him. The Kakarot for 1 spam, I thought that was going to be the doom for GT after Shenron just got obliterated by 3 of them. But I think what kept GT in it long enough for them to find an avenue to win was the clashes. They went 80% on clashes, 4 for 5, and that kind of helped them get this like chunk damage on Muscle, and that allowed them to find a win, right? And same thing, you say this one for GT and Muscle is similar to Androids and Budokai. Muscle hit 35% of B2s, GT hit 15 out of 22, so vast differences there, and that's not going to cut it. You can't have sub 40% hit rates and expect to win on most matches, right? But I do think that there's still a lot of things that GT can improve upon in regards to matchups. I think that you can kind of help Baby out a little bit, get him working a little bit more in certain matchups. But obviously there's a lot more for Muscle to look at, to saying how dominant Broly was, and they still lost, right? So that's a very big red flag if you're Muscle to say. But on the bright side, Muscle is the I would say the kings of adaptation. They do know how to adapt on in these best of 3s. So I do think we'll have a little bit of changes coming from them, and that could shake things up, and I can see them finding a way to bring it back. Toshiro, what do you think?
I would say so. This match is crazy, and I do have to actually agree with you in terms of Muscle being they can adapt, because they've had very solid builds the majority of the whole season, and sometimes you'll see the same builds like reappear, kind of like with the Broly build and all, but it's just so funny at how versatile all their characters are and how well they can do on those builds. Broly on that, well, what was his build? It was like a secret met or a spiritual control.
Super
with
plus
KSA.
2, spiritual control. I believe Kabito secret art and light body. So you didn't even have savior.
Yeah,
it just seemed like it had.
To me, that's really just disgusting. And I don't know if I can see any other character really pulling it off besides Broly to some extent, because Broly already has like a power body when he's in Savior too, and with that light body, it kind of makes him even harder to like hit out. So Muscle is just, they had a good grasp. Ryan and Iron Fist, and if they have any other supporters, they have a really good grasp on their characters, and I'm really just shocked at how well. GT, I noticed that I think they said that Pan actually had a AI change this week during the stream. So whatever that AI is, keep it, because that did well for you and Pan. So I don't know. Like, I think everyone tried to do their job. Like, while Sin, GT, Goku, and even Baby didn't really pull their weight and everything, I feel like they just didn't have a chance because of the aggressiveness from Muscle. So other than that, I don't really have much to say, because this match was just too good for me, in my opinion. One of the best matches I actually saw this week. So, DJ.
Well, I can tell you exactly what happened to have Broly go off and to have Pan go off. They rejected humanity and embraced Monkey. They took the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, saw what he did, and they wanted they wanted to embrace Monkey. But all memes aside, now that was a phenomenal performance by GT. I loved what I saw. Considering you never see Pan really do that good. Like I was sitting there going, "Ooh, is she gonna go elite? No. Okay, bye Pan." But Sin doing Sin things was, kind of sad. But I don't think that Baby Vegeta's stat line, as you said, DoorGuard, I don't think that his stat line really supports what he, could have done.
Baby had 2 bars left, so
Yeah. So he had 2 bars left and he tagged out, I believe. Right?
mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was kind of sad because I wanted to watch him just obliterate, but we got to see Pan do good things, so I was really happy with that. Hopefully we can keep it going this coming week, and it's gonna be rough because if Trunks does what he did round 2 of, I think it was round 2 of last round.
Yeah,
believe
against
so.
Cinema.
Of
Yeah.
the playoffs where he just went in and annihilated everything, and then round 3
Yeah, it was.
Broly showed up and
Yep.
implanted Fasha's face into the dirt.
Yeah.
So as long as we can get past Super Trunks and Broly, I think we're fine. But then we have to contend with 13 and Bojack, and then Roshi in the background. So it's gonna be rough. But look at what we did this week. So it was a fun match. This was a fun match to watch, Tosh.
Yeah,
So you said it perfectly.
I was going to say Shin Shenron is a very strong member for GT2, so getting the unlucky task, and luckily him being the Eternal Life tank user was able to suck up a lot of Blastox from Broly.
Yeah.
By,
Yep.
even though it was only for 1 bar and he gets like 5, he did also use some Saiyan Souls in there, so he actually used a lot of his resources on Shin. So even though he didn't get to do much, but throw a couple super trap shooters to still make sure trap shooter was announced in this match, it
Yeah.
wasn't as
Got a
much.
dab.
So
Got a dab.
he on his own I think did 80,000 the last time they fought Muscle. I think he literally just trap shootered Broly to death the last time they
Yeah.
Oh
met.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, he did.
That
It
left
was
Ryan.
the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and I got the comment on it with Ryan.
That was
Because
good.
Ryan was completely speechless that week.
Yep.
So Ryan, what do you think about all these trap shooters? Make them stop.
Oh yeah, a good point on that, DoorGuard. Because I think that that was the best case scenario for GT for Shenron to tank the ults, right? If any other character does like Pan or GT, they take 2 and they're done, right?
Oh yeah.
But since Shenron can take 3 of them, 4 of them almost, right? That's definitely the optimal play there. So they need to find a way to replicate that, or find a way to shut down Broly before he can start spamming them. Once he gets on a roll, it's just constant of the Kakarot for
Yeah,
one.
because they both. Yeah, they have 2 characters that have a negative defense, if I recall. Because GT Goku,
Yeah.
at least on the base game, because I don't remember exactly off the top of my head if that was changed or not. But I remember GT Goku and Pan have a defense negative -2, just
Yeah, if
naturally.
you
General.
look up
Yeah.
mods on the website, it should be
Yes.
updated on there if it has been changed. Otherwise, it would be assumed to be base game stats. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential for both sides to come out, and Super Trunks' better build is actually with Super Plus 2, so we could see the return of Melee Broly that did eat Fasha one of the rounds last week. So, there's a lot of build swaps here, so they might not even do that with Broly. That's the scary thing, is Broly and Super Trunks both use Attack Plus 2 and Super Plus 2, and they just switch between each other. So, where GT's basically ran the same builds all season, just maybe with some AI swaps here and there since they got everything working. So, yeah, will be interesting to see what happens from there. Is there anything you guys wanted to add on to this match then?
Reject humanity. Embrace monkey.
Yeah, they
Alright.
certainly have the potential to have a lot of monkey here. Maybe we'll even see Golden Ozaru next week.
Oh.
Oh, hopefully.
Yes. Actually, he might be white. I think we might actually have put them
We might
into
see
costume
Monkey
2 this
next
week.
week.
Yes, we might see monkey.
Might see Monkey. Well, shall I get moving on to the West Kai Showdown then?
Let's
Yeah,
do
your
it.
favorite match, right, Dor?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is a
Right.
good match. So match number 4, Rugrats and okay. Match number 3, Bujins and Namek. So initial note: all night there were characters randomly standing still, and that did not hit worse than with Bujins. So starting off, late Piccolo and Majub. Majub just taking it to late Piccolo, but he managed to tag with about as close to 1.1 bars as possible to regen to 2. And Maj goes down after Tambourine comes in on a new Key plus 2 Savior build and ults him for 11k. So still a not too far out match. Majin Buu comes in, takes Tam to about half, only losing a bar himself and tagging to come back with 3. Tam tags though as well. Super Buu comes in and probably faces his worst nightmare, Nuova, who just absolutely destroys him with B2s. Evil Buu comes in and he does manage to take out Nuova, but loses half his health in the process. But he does tag with 2 bars. Majin Buu comes and takes out the last bit of late Piccolo, but goes down to what's left of Tambourine. Evil Buu finishes off Tambourine, but in an attempt to hit a Kame Wave on King Piccolo, he actually eats a 12k ult instead. King tags on his last bar and Nail enters, but eats a 17k ult from Kid Buu, before finally going down to Nail after Nail goes down to about 2 bars. So Namek takes round 1, and even though it had a lot of bad moments, it still ended up in the end becoming a lot more even than I think people expected with the lead Namek had. And there's so much that can change coming in from week to week, but the reign of late Piccolo was stopped. People were thinking he would basically just take him to the cup with his, and he just couldn't do anything this week. Still managed to find a lot of damage between a lot of tags, but obviously this is the first time I think all season Evil Buu did under 60k, so expecting that to happen twice will be a rarity. And Super Buu also finding probably his worst possible nightmare, which is matching up against Nuova, is maybe not what was expected, but that's the issue with characters that tag, is they switch up the order, and both teams were doing actually a lot more tagging than I think anyone could have predicted. So was still a pretty good match, honestly. I think it kept with a lot of moments that kept it in, and obviously Kid Buu and Majin Buu certainly almost made a small comeback there at the end, but it just wasn't enough. So it will be interesting to see what happens in the next round, because I know both teams saw this as sure, Namek won and Sir Bujins lost, but I mean, Bujins were 13-2 for a reason, and Namek only barely squeaked in, so there's no way they're thinking that this next round is going to be anywhere near as easy as the first one. So how'd you feel about this West Kai Showdown, Donut?
A little bit shocked, to be honest. I thought Boozers would take it, but Namet said no, sir. And the way they did it was quite fascinating, because it didn't just come from just one character popping off. I think everyone kind of held their weight. Even late Piccolo, who had a tougher matchup against Majub than he did against Ultimate Gohan from the previous round, but still was able to do his 58k, right? And that's still very solid as a character. And I think you mentioned it a lot of times. Super Buu being shut down by Nuova, and then that kind of just was the breaking point. I think that was a big moment when Nuova was able to do that. And I think what even is bigger moment is Tambourine and King Piccolo holding the weight. That was a big question I had going into the match, saying, could those two characters, specifically those two characters, actually hold the weight? And because you look at the Bujins lineup, and those are some of the best characters in the league, just straight up. And Tambourine, they've had a new build, they've had various different builds, but he hasn't been like the top of his game like we've known him to be in the past. And King Piccolo's been arguably the worst member of the Namets this whole season. So that was a big point of emphasis for me going into this, and they both held the weight and then some. So they need that to replicate at least one more time for them to take it. Now for Bujins, obviously I think a lot of the things just matchup issues, right? Super Boo can't have that happen. Maybe you start him, maybe you don't. Maybe it's just find a way to not have a matchup against Nuova, right? Need Kid Boo to hopefully keep spamming those ults, right? He threw out one, but we need more from him, right? Majin Buu didn't throw an ult. I know he's on the savior build, so you kind of need those angry explosions to come hitting. So a lot of things just didn't go their way, right? And I think the big decider was not even necessarily Bujin's fault. It was just Namek on the ball. They went 93% on the B2 ratio, 14 out of 15 hits. And that's hard for any team, right? Even if the Super Saiyans were here, it'd be hard for them
Hey,
to win,
Toshiro, you
right?
ready for Nuova to spam ult size B2s?
Yeah, have fun, right?
He only hit
And
7 out of 7.
yeah,
I'm
it's
good.
insane. Yeah, it's insane, right? And yeah, he did not miss one B2 this match. So it's if they can do that, or if you can find a way for if you're the Bujins to find a way for them to miss those or to interrupt them, that'll be the main thing to look at, right? I think the biggest problem, a lot of Namet's characters like to throw B2s, and for Bujins, they have Super Boo, right, who likes to do Genocide Blast, right? So that get interrupted at any point, melee or B2, it stops, right?
Can
So
I
it's
just
basically
say,
wasting.
he used a genocide blast. Nuova stood completely still, wasn't charging nothing, just was derping out, and it missed. So the game broke that night. As far as I
Yeah,
can tell, it was the wrong game version.
So did
Um,
I actually was crying how hard I was laughing when that happened.
Yeah, it's not a very good matchup for Super Boo, just generally I feel. Because Tambourine likes to do his Samisen, I believe, right? King Piccolo just
Samisen?
Mud Beam, right? Um, so a lot of things that they like to spam, and then Nuova obviously, right? And then like Piccolo's in your face all the time. It's not a really good matchup for Super Boo. So that'll be the big chess problem for them to figure out. Where do you place him? How do you position him to get the most out of him? Because he was the worst character this last match, in my opinion. Other than that, I expect a little bit different results. Maybe Bujins come back, maybe they don't, but I expect it'll be a lot closer. I expect to judge it 3 rounds. Toshio, what do you think?
Kind of in the same boat. I agree. Matchup is everything. Maju did his best. Man did all he could. I think my main thing is, of course, I feel like Super Boo versus Nova. While yes, it went on the wrong end of the spectrum for you guys, I can definitely say I feel Super Boo can actually pull it off. If he can show at how aggressive he used to be, in other matches and everything, and stop them from spamming, because he doesn't use chocolate beam. Of course, he uses genocide blast, but he doesn't need to. He doesn't rely on ki for the most part at all, unless it's for a ping pong or trying to chase down the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see Super Boo if he comes back in form. The next 2 matches, I can definitely see you guys taking out Nuova and maybe even late Piccolo, because I feel like he has a faster melee and all. Maju, keep doing yourself. Keep doing you, man. Majin Buu and Kid Buu. Majin Buu just needs to do his job, because I was expecting a lot more. I think, and then when I say do his job, I mean more so like old.
Is anyone else
Like how
has a
he
lot
usually
more
does.
criticism on the Bujins team over Toshiro's
Well,
here?
we
I'm just
did,
keeping notes for next match. Don't worry about it.
He just needs to be able to just use his ult more. Same thing with Kid Buu. Late now going back over to Namek and everything, they did pretty well. I was actually shocked that late Piccolo wasn't as dominant as he was versus Hybrid. Because the first they went 2-0 versus Hybrids. The first 2 showings with that attack +2 was completely crazy. I'm just like, huh. So I'm not even thinking about the Bujins matches. I'm thinking about how it'll affect me, because I feel like I'm in trouble if I face that. If I actually went against Cold. So like and especially like same thing with King Piccolo. He's actually picking up the pace, I feel like, and everyone else just did their job. So I would say it's, of course, it's a close match, just how we saw in the round 1, but I don't know. it was a good match and all, but yeah, I definitely thought Bujins would actually have the edge. But I just felt like all some of their characters just wasn't in it for the most part. Out of that, due to like either their AI just not doing what they usually do, or because of matchups. So yeah, DJ.
All right. Well, I'm gonna be fully in Namek's boat here, honestly, because this was the Namek that we saw dominate the league for the first half of the season. Then they kind of had a mid-season collapse and barely made it. Yes, that was the best storyline going into this was if Namek could make it. Um, but the watching King Piccolo show up, Nova do his thing, late Piccolo show up, and Tambourine show up after he's had one of his worst seasons in recent memory that I can think of. Um, it was honestly it was what I expected after seeing them go 7-0 to start the season. Um, I was pretty much convinced that they were going to end up where the Bujins were at the end of the season. What were you guys, 13-2, I
Yep.
believe? Yeah. That's what I thought would happen with Namek. It was really cool to see it flip-flop, with you at the top of the division and them fighting just to survive. That was really cool to watch. But the big thing that I took away from this match was that late Piccolo did some very infuriating things for Namek, and if he sorts them out, like I think I might be wrong here, but I might be remembering wrong here. But if our stats guru Donut down there can let me know, I think he launched off, what was it, 3 or 4 light grenades and two of them missed. I think
He fired 2v2s and one of them hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm misremembering, but he and then he Hellzone grenaded.
Yeah, that the worst
and
possible
it
time.
did nothing because he got hit. It was the
Yep.
worst possible to move. So if he had just fired a light grenade there, it probably would have been better, or even a special beam cannon, probably would have been better. So if they sort him out, or if he shows up this coming week, and the Bujins show up. Sorry, slip of the tongue. Said it for years. My bad. I'm sorry, Mr. DoorGuard.
Stop saying super evil boo. Why is that a thing?
Go back and watch the minors. We had Super Boo and Evil Boo in the minor leagues for years, and they would typically end up with matches one right after the other or very close, and you would go to say Super Boo or Evil Boo, and it wasn't just me, and you would end up just saying Super Evil Boo.
Nice.
So that is why he's Super Evil Boo. But if the Bujins show up, yeah, it could be a very close match. But honestly, it's up to you guys to win this, because if Namek actually does what they're capable of doing, it's going to be an uphill struggle for you guys.
Well, it's a small counter argument to how bad we are. We did have Super Boo and Kid Boo on their backup
how
AI,
bad
their
you
secondary AI. So
How bad we are.
we may or
Top
may
team in
not.
the league.
Yeah.
Top team in the
How
league.
bad
Yeah,
we
we're
are.
being stripped
Okay.
of all of our characters next season, and we might
I
not be a team anymore.
Only Bobby D from now on.
Yeah,
all you
Bobby
get.
D-
I
Hey,
can't
hey.
confirm we are giving them I'm joking now.
Pui has a 100% hit rate, man.
That is true.
Yeah,
he
that's
never
cool.
missed.
But he has to show up though. No, but we did have Super Boo and Kid Boo on their secondary AI. We did use this match as a little bit of testing, and obviously Super Boo, who's basically started 90% of our matches, was third in lineup. So there was some stuff we took big risks on that may or may not continue into the next match. So we will see. Obviously, they have been pulling out new tambourine builds like weekly. They went attack +2 to defense +2 to now key +2. They also had a super +2 on one of their final weeks of the season when they really needed wins. So yeah, there's so much variability, because even though we don't change builds, we do change AI and we do change positioning a good bit. So you never know. It's really hard to say who's going to pull out on top, but Yeah, that is a note. Goku AI on Super Buu did well for a couple weeks, but that doesn't mean it has to be the AI we use.
That's true.
True.
Honestly, I'm not bashing on the Boojins. I'm just saying it's going to be an uphill struggle because this was the Namek team that dominated the league at the beginning of the season. They showed up, and it's for everybody. It was an uphill struggle, and you guys are the best team in the league statistically. You've got the best win record. You've got all of your characters. I think are top half, right?
Yeah, top 36.
Yeah. So there you
But
go.
not top 10.
Nope.
You don't need to be top 10.
Couldn't even get
If
in the
you've got
All-Stars.
11, 12, 13, 14, and 15.
You guys are all
Sorry, we
consistent,
didn't get
okay, sir?
Now, let me tell you how to build a Rayleigh. Nah.
Goddamn.
Tell me,
I'm
how
not
do
going
you
down
build a
this-
rally, Tosh?
I'm not going down
Yeah,
this road. Shut
talk
up.
about that. That's
Shut
a
up.
segue. That's a good segue,
I
isn't
had to bring this meme into the Capsule cast. It had to happen. You should have known when you agreed to join. Well, do you guys have any other remarks on match 3 here, the West Kai showdown, or are we ready to move on to South Kai?
I have one.
Oh.
Good luck.
Ah, it's not Nerf Boojins. Good to hear.
Now that's it.
Nerf
And then
Boojin.
nerf the Boojins.
Yep, that is.
You had to say
Our
something.
nerf
I
is
didn't.
we are trading King Super Buu for King Majin Vegeta. So
I see.
all right.
So
Well,
go
Yeah,
teams,
okay.
are did you guys have anything else though you wanted to add?
Nah,
No.
I'm good.
Alrighty then, let us get on to the last match of the week. Another very fun match. It was a 4v5 for some reason. It was a very strange match in the end, but hey, Rugrats do what they want to do. So, Rugrats versus Cold Kingdom. We have Metacooler versus Cell Jr. to start. Cell Jr. on his Minty Fresh costume 2. And he actually did a very good job starting. He's been a struggling character, taking out Meta, but going down almost immediately to King Cold. So still a very even match, probably the only match of this week that actually was this even. Goten coming in, fighting him down to a sliver and tagging, but he only managed to do about a bar to King Cold. King tags at his last bar and goes into Frieza, who finishes off Cyberman, who had a pretty decent week off that. Aurelie comes in, finishes off Frieza, and takes up pretty much all of Cooler, only losing a bar before eating a 12k Raccoon Ultra Fighting Miracle Destruction Planet Destroying Bomber. And before he could get a 1-bar Kakarot off, Aurelie tags. But they both came down to about a bar difference, and she even almost nearly took Raccoon there. Raccoon gets... He ends up going up against the midget himself, Goten, who finishes off the Ginger Brute. Goten wins a Beam Clash for about 15k against King Cold's Full Power Death Beam, which surprised the majority of chat, not knowing that Full Power Death Beam is just the size large enough to count for a Beam Clash to win it for Rugrats in round 1. So a very dominating battle. Didn't even have to see Kid Trunks. Obviously, Aurelie on her attack build just totally shining, showing everybody that you don't need to tell Aurelie how to build. She knows what she's doing. But, you know, a very surprising match to me due to how dominant King Cold looked at the beginning and how it seemed to be going in the favor, but obviously Cooler and Frieza just getting eaten alive by the Demon Child. And Raccoon, the Ginger Brute, trying to show what Doom really is, but it took too long to pronounce his ult, and he only got one off. So it was a little unfortunate. But a great try, I would say, by Cold Kingdom this first round. We did get to see some little glimmers, but Rugrats dominating as always, and will be needed if they do end up going against what Namek is pushing out right now. So, Dona, how'd you feel about the South Kai showdown?
As a pure fan of the league, this was the match, the quarterfinal match I had circled. These two teams are the closest between each other with on the average total damage. They separate by 199 total damage, which is nothing, right? That's basically a rush box. So it's that close, right? So on paper, I thought, oh, this would be a very good match. We have Cooler versus Aurelie. We have Frieza versus Kid Trunks. I'm like, oh, this would be very interesting, right? And it was until it wasn't. And King Cold, obviously strong start, love it. He's been struggling as of late, so nice to see him pick it back up a little bit. Cell Jr. taking after his dad with the mint form, so love to see it. Doing basically half as much as Cell did this week, so nice and fitting. It all makes sense. So everything went fine until Tula stepped on the stage and got beaten to death by Rayleigh. And that was the moment when I said, "Yep, this is over." Because they cannot have that happen with your Cold Kingdom. You cannot have Tula get destroyed by that. Now, who do you have instead of Tula? Who the hell knows? You do not put anyone in front of Rayleigh and live, basically. So you have to find a way to make it where both characters, like two characters, take out the one. And then you hope Tula takes out Kid Trunks, and then you hope whoever else remains can take out the rest. So it's a tough battle for Cold Kingdom right now. So I think that was a very dominant performance from Rugrats, and that's without the best player in my opinion. It's I don't know if there's an answer right now. I can't think of anything at the moment, but Rugrats was very dominant. Everyone kind of showed up, even Cyberman, doing that 45,000, right? Love to see that.
Kid Buu Killer.
Yep.
Catch
And
up.
And then really just Frieza and Cooler, the heavy hitters from Cold, just did not perform at all. They hit no B2s, one ult from Cooler, which is nice, but that's not enough, right? That is not going to be nearly enough to take down both of Rayleigh, Goten, and then you have Kid Trunks still on the bench basically, right? And that's just it's such a tough hill to climb right now if you Cold Kingdom, but there's a chance if they can find King Cold to do that same exact 80,000, find Tula to do that 70,000 or something, then there's a chance. But you need a lot to go your way. Not to really harp on Cold here, but it was very dominant from Rugrats, unexpectedly so. But that shows you how complete they are as a team, right? Like you say, Kid Trunks not even stepping on the field, Rayleigh, Demon Child, Goten can ult spam if he needs to. And then if they want, they have the curveball of the fusion, right? I know you probably won't see it, but it's still there. You have to prep for it. You have to plan for that, right? So it's a little curveball you can always throw out there. So now I'll let the coach himself talk. Toshiro, what do you think?
So this match, of course, outside of, like I said, I think outside of the first match, this was, of course, my favorite because bias, This, I gotta say, so Cole, they did put up a fight. I honestly thought that King Cold had us on the run for a bit, to be honest. At how dominant he was in dot, and that's the other thing. Like, I don't really understand. I've never seen anyone dodge that much without like after image strike or anything like that. But it feels like they were dodging all of our B2s or blocking it with no issue. And especially King Cold. And I don't know, like when we went into this match, at least my thought process, we won before, and so I was kind of just using our divisional against Cold as a base in terms of how we would go about. We already had the majority of our builds figured out, so it wasn't that much changes and all. We only did like slight changes to like Rayleigh and Cyberman. So like for Cyberman, we gave him Power Rage. Rayleigh, we gave her Quick Fast Attack instead of Unleash Key. So, and of course, Cell Jr., we ended up using his build that we used against hybrids. And all, because I actually showed kind of a decent performance there. So seeing at least him going even with Metacooler, that's an automatic win in my book. The only thing is, I'm actually wondering if we should change his build at all. But as of right now, we are not. Overall, and then Rayleigh just popping off, going crazy, which I never seen her do. At least, well, I've seen her do it, but it's mainly been against androids. And seeing her really take out Cooler, and then also pretty much Raccoon. The thing about her that I love is that she has an ultimate body effect and everything. That's why we give her Savior. And then she can cut through anyone as well. So just seeing her eat that ult, take everyone out. Goten did well. Like when he came back in, I was kind of disappointed. Like in the beginning, only him taking a bar and a half from King Cold but I'm glad he tagged. Overall, I'm just glad that we had the tag game. We are very aggressive overall. Cold can easily take it for the most part if if everyone picks up the slack and everything there too. Because you got Cold who can always ult spam. King Cold has our number for some reason. Um, and then Frieza. Frieza did while he didn't do well this week, he did well in our divisional. So I'm not counting him out, or even Metacooler. But I'm not sure how to feel about Raccoon. But yeah, enough of me rambling and everything. I'm very proud of my match and everything, how we pulled it off, and hopefully we can pull it off again. DJ? Oh, DJ, and I made you proud. Costume 2 for everyone except for Goten. There you go.
Yes, I was very proud of you. That is why you won. And I will say this, and here's a little preemptive knowledge for everybody. I joined Team Cold in Season 3. This match made me so sad. Congratulations, Tosh. All hail the Demon Child. You know, as a former Valkyrie supporter as well, I have to say that. All hail the Demon Child. But this, I was just sighing watching Cooler do nothing and Frieza do nothing. Because way back when, you know, for as long as I can remember, yeah, Cooler had his issues when we had him, you know, really super bulky final form Cooler. He had his issues, but doing nothing like this, that was, it was ugly. So Cold definitely saw that. I guarantee you that they've been working on builds, and I hope that it's a little bit less of a domination over them from the Rugrats. I hope they win. I hope it goes to round 3, because I would love to see a round 3 between these two teams. I love watching Cold Rugrats fight. It's always fun. Except when, you know, there's an absolute domination happening.
I don't like the propaganda Rugrats used of stealing Aureli's hat and saying that the Cold Kingdom took it. I don't think that was a fair use.
Listen, that was supposed to be under wraps. Shut up. God.
Hey! Are you telling me that you told her that Frieza took her hat?
I mean, yeah, like,
jerk.
It's something that they would do, probably.
It would help
Probably.
if Frieza didn't
Frieza
antagonize
wouldn't take the
the
hat.
child.
He would blow it up.
Funny enough, we talked about if Aurelie should be allowed as a Resurrected Warriors, but when we talked about if the planet blew up, what would happen, it was probably she would float to space and then dominate half the galaxy. So, yeah.
She would take the bits of the planet and woohoo them off in all directions.
Yeah.
So, indeed.
Yeah, no. All Cold needs to do is actually, you know, turn up this week, and it'll be a really fun match to watch. So I'm looking forward to this.
If they can get Raccoon on those 1-bar Kakarot's, I mean, maybe he can do the multiple ults. Would be a lot of fun to see the commentators trying to say the ult, though, over and over and over again. But, you know, that's just...
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, there we go.
There
Got to add in all the stuff. Remember, he never finished saying the title in the manga. He kept going and going and going, and then he got punched. So we don't actually know the full name.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know the full name. You just got to keep going until it's over.
Yeah. So you just keep repeating the first 3 words?
Nah, man, I added more adjectives. You can do so. Open up your thesaurus.
That
Go hard. So.
Raccoon Renegade punch in the face.
Is there anything else you guys wanted to add on to match 4? Do you guys want to get sliding into the predictions?
I would just say I really want while Goten didn't do like what I wanted him to do in the beginning, I want him to spam more ultimates. That is why I give him KSA and Fighting Spirit. He can do it. All right, that's all I want. I just want him to do more ults. More bros coming out. We need
I just want to see Frieza do anything.
Yeah.
Literally, do something.
Anything.
Anything.
One thing. Just do something.
Don't
And I
Like
will
that,
say-
that meme. It's like that meme with the guy just poking faces. Like, just do something. Anything. Please.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, when they
and I-
had a week as poor as this, they only really have anywhere to go but up this next week.
That's
So
true.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's true. I think one thing that Cold may want to invest in, maybe some Clash boosts.
Yes.
As they went 0 for 3.
no,
Um,
no.
they went 0 for 3 on these clashes this week, so
well, Clash
it might
Boost don't
tell
affect
something.
Beam Clash, so
That's true. So I guess 0 for 2, right? But so
Oh, microphone.
might want to may look into it, maybe not. I mean, it was just Cell Jr., but may put it on one person, try to answer that, right? Um, that's all. That's all I think of. Really, I
Yeah,
mean,
we
they
have
have all solid builds, so
Yeah, we have Power Rage both on Cyberman and Cell Jr. But
Yeah.
Cyberman just never wanted to get into a clash. And
Likewise.
one thing I will say, I agree with DJ that I don't want it to be a domination, but I will not want to see it go to a round 3.
yeah, just stick around 2. We're done with it. Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
speaking
this
of
sounds
talking,
like a little bit of
I rather. That's
Sounds like
just
a little
me.
personal bias there, Tosh.
What do you expect? Do you not know me? All right, Dora, I'm done.
all right,
yeah, we're done.
let's get moving on to predictions then. Let's get this last segment over. Starting in North Kai, Budokai and Androids. Androids currently 1-0. Nothing against Budokai. I do think that it could go to a round 3, but I think in the end, Androids will take it, even if it does go to round 3. Budokai certainly could take this next one, but it's very difficult on Glacier. So I'm going to give, at least for the overall, to Androids.
Should be no surprise. Androids will win this one. I'm hoping.
Shock- Shocking Pikachu
Cell.
face.
Yeah, no, right? Cell 17. 17 really didn't have to do anything last match, right? And that was with Super 17 kind of dumping the entire time, right? So it was essentially a 3v5 for the most part, and we found a way to win. That's very hopeful for us if we can get 19 working at the same rate, 16 doing the same thing he's been doing. But Cell and 17 will be a big catalyst for this match. Look out for them.
So I would probably. I'll still give it to Androids. Cell being on top of his form, especially if he can keep it up for a third time in a row. That or fourth time in a
Yeah.
row. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's on for that
Um,
time hat trick for Elite. 1, 2, 3.
I
Go even
I could
further
definitely
beyond.
see him do it. Yes, I could definitely see him pull it off. The other thing is that on Glacier, a lot more ults can probably connect rush ults if they do so, because the water doesn't count as you being on the ground. You are still active. I'm pretty sure. So, I can definitely see Androids taking it, and hopefully Super 17 does not blow up the map, because I don't think Cell can. So outside of that, I think Androids take it.
I personally think that it'll go to a round 3. I feel like Budokai is really going to step up their game this week and take round 2. However, that said, if Cell does his thing for a third week in a row, it's easily going to be Androids. So I'm going to go with Budokai taking it to round 3, but give Androids the overall.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because, knowing Malachi, he does adaptations very well. So I expect to see a few curveballs coming up our way.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a 4-0 for Androids, but that is anticipating majority-wise that we will go to around 3 off some tactical changes. So moving on to East Kai, we have Grand Tour and Muscle. I see GT taking it again. Not to say that Muscle can't bring it to a round 3. This is another one that certainly could, and Muscle did do it against Cinema. But I mean, GT's better characters struggled, and there's nothing saying they'll do that again, since the better characters are their more consistent characters. So I just see a little too much in the favor of GT, with Muscle still struggling with Roshi or whichever costume they pick. So I'm going with GT.
Djnuma, I'm gonna have to deal with Muscle. I think that's the adaptations and the ability to come back in a best of. Historically, I think they'll be able to take it. Broly will be doing the same exact thing. I think they'll get Super Trunks working again, and I think 13 will have a much better showing. I think those 3 will carry it for them. So yeah, I'd say Muscle 2-1.
I will actually have to agree with you. Pretty much same reason. Muscle 2-1. I feel like Pan may have I'm hoping that's not like a one-off performance for Ban, but I'm pretty sure if Muscle, like if Broly and who else did well? It was Broly and uh Bojack and 13. If they can keep up their same performances what they did and give Super Trunks like his super build and all that stuff, I can definitely see Muscle taking it overall, especially because they did the same thing last week or last round versus Cinema. So I can definitely see them pulling off. While with GT, I feel they can pull it off, but they just need to make sure the rest of their people actually stay on form, stay on top. So, yeah, 2-1 Muscle for me.
Ah, boo. I'm gonna have to go GT 2-0 because I know something you all don't.
Ah,
Don't
Bring in-
you say it.
We're
Oh.
bringing the power of Costume 2.
it's over.
Russell's
You
got
heard it.
no
Monkey,
chance.
Monkey too strong.
Monkey too strong.
Somebody has to channel the power of Kaiju.
Kaiju ain't here to do it. We got this.
Yep.
Oh, so yeah, I'm gonna actually have to go that Bojack and Broly and 13. I feel like they'll bring it. I don't think Trunks is going to, and I don't think Roshi is because they're a little slow. They're a tad slow melee wise, whereas GT has a lot more quick characters. And Broly, if he puts up a performance like he did against Fasha or like he did last week with the single bar Kakarot's.
Catch for one.
Yep, Kakarot for one. And if Bojack comes in and just throws balls the whole day, we're gonna have our work cut out for us. But I do believe that overall the team on GT is just more consistent in terms of their ability to dish out the beatings.
So got a pretty even 2-2 split here. Certainly a very interesting match. Again, GT hasn't really had many opportunities, as in this is their first opportunity in the quarterfinals. So who knows what kind of variety they can bring out, even off after a win. And Muscle, obviously already doing a comeback victory, can certainly bring it again. So moving on to West Kai, Best Kai, we have Bujins and Namek. Obviously, Bujins just turn it all around and eat their greens this week.
Alright. Well, you're not gonna like me for this one. I'm gonna go Namek 2-1.
All right, Toshiro, moving from the chat.
um,
I don't hear a disconnect noise.
I think you guys will find a way in round 2, but
He's still talking,
Kami-
Toshiro.
I know. Or Kami's gonna have some issues for you guys, but I think Nova and Late Piccolo, those two will be the big reasons that you guys will find a defeat this week.
All right, handing your resignation, sir. I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
No, I'm messing.
Toshiro over here. Okay, which team would I rather fight?
Yeah.
That's actually
It's
that's
great,
my
yeah.
train of thought, to be honest. I want to say, like, outside of bias on who I'd rather fight, I think Bujins. You guys went 13-2 for a reason. You guys were able to find consistent builds and actually be able to turn it around in the past. I can definitely see you guys doing this again. Who I'd rather face is, of course, Namek. So, but I would say 2-1 Bujins, probably.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I'm conflicted with that.
Heck, we might have to
I
get
think
you and
Bujins.
DoorGuard on that match if you're Bujins and Rugrats.
Nah, I'm good.
That'd be fun. Just the two of you slinging insults the entire stream.
So for this match only, we have two unique commentators.
We got support from Bujins and staff members.
Just gonna
and
put this
coaches.
R rating in the corner real quick.
Yeah,
Please turn away if
yeah.
you are.
Your
This
discretion
program
be
is rated.
advised.
This program is rated F for effed up. No, so in my opinion, I think that it's going to go Namek's direction. If we go just based off of what they did and the potential that they've got if all of their characters do what they were trying to do, like a Hellzone grenade, except without bad timing. But again, if Kid Buu shows up, if Evil Buu shows up, it's going to be a struggle for Namek.
Sure.
That's going to be a major one, is if Evil Buu shows up, because Evil Buu, Flame Shower Breath, nothing to sniff at.
Yeah.
And then the Super Kamehameha spam. I love it. I love when he does that. It's just, and Pink Beam. So I'm gonna go Namek, but I can easily see Bujin's bringing this back 2-1.
Yeah, for sure.
So 2 to Korean even split at 2-2, but really it's 3-1 for Bujins, depending on which side of Toshi you take. I mean, honestly, though, this is just kind of where we're at this point with the quarterfinals. It's so hard to predict, and it's so fun to just see what turns out, because 2-0s are certainly possible, but not guaranteed. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how they turn out. So moving on to South Kai, of course, the match to end the stream, hoping for a good one, but I'm going to just have to give it to Rugrats. This is the only one I could see going 2-0 very easily. It's nothing against Cold Kingdom, but I mean, we haven't seen too many teams go 4-0 besides go with only even 4 members besides Androids. And Cold has had more than a few problem children, and with Rugrats problem children just basking in glory, it's just it's quite terrifying for them. So obviously best of luck to them, but I see Rugrats pulling through this one pretty quickly.
Yeah. Spoofy, I love you, but I don't know, buddy. I don't know about this one. I'd say Rugrats to Kid Trunks is didn't step on the field, and that's the best member. So best of luck to you, but I see Rugrats taking this one.
Of course, bias, and I feel like we can do it. Of course.
So you're going Cold.
Yeah, pull an Oasis. Call the other team.
2-1. Yep, that is.
Cold 2-1 from Toshiro. Heard it here first.
I would really like to see Cole do well, especially because I used to be on the team with Spoofy and everything like that, and I like to see like when his team does well. But man, I'm going against you. I just can't. I can't do that. I need to win. But I want to win more so than I need it. But yeah, I can see us doing that. So yeah.
Now,
DJ.
Now, I promise not to trash talk Rugrats, but with all the crap that's being slung Cold's way, I have to back my boys here. I'm going Cold 2-1. I feel like there was just enough of a slap in the face that, Frieza will come back, Cooler will come back, and it's gonna be 2-1 to Cold, and I feel like even if Trunks hits the field, as long as Cold. I'm saying we. Can you tell I was on the team for a while? As long as Cold gets a Rayleigh, and I would say probably Cell Jr. out of the way. Goten, yes, he's a problem. But I feel like if they can get Cell Jr. and a Rayleigh out of the way, those are the two that are going to give Cold the toughest time, minus Raccoon. Raccoon could be obliterated by Kid Trunks easily. But if you go off of the basis of Team Cold, Meta Cooler, Frieza, Cooler, and King Cold there, if they are on their day, there's no stopping them. So I'm going to back my boys, go Cold 2-1.
So we got a pretty even split at 2-2 with Djnuma and Tosh for Cold, and of course DoorGuard and Donut for Rugrats. Very surprising way the votes went, but of course, I'm just joking. It's 3-1 Rugrats to Cold. Obviously, probably the biggest hill to climb of all the matches is going to be in North and South Kai. All the other two will be very, very close brawls, but those ones are pretty big cliffs that the opposition has to climb up to get just at least one win here. So with that, is there any final remarks you guys wanted to have on the quarterfinals this week?
I got one.
Okay.
You said that there's going to be a massive hill to climb. Yes, there is. However, it's not that massive if Goku shows up or if Frieza shows up. So
True.
Or if you
They-
Kakarot for 1 bar, I mean, that makes it pretty
Yeah,
good.
you know, Kakarot for 1 bar.
The
Kakarot for a
really fun
bar.
match.
Certainly
Imagine you
quickens up the
just
pace.
blowing the character. That'd be wild.
I'm
That's
more so
funny.
just
all around.
I'm more so just wondering how everyone else will kind of change their builds, or if it's going to stay the same. It's going to be a lineup change.
Yeah, that'd be
That's
the
what
most
more so what I'm
interesting
interested in.
part.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of build changes, but a lot of lineup changes could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, certainly. Well, with that, that has been the Capsule Cast quarterfinals edition for round 2 or round 1. Next week will be round 2. As always, we have all the links in the description, the Discord for active discussion and live watch parties, as well as if you wish to join a team, the website with all the Patars, mods, teams, all the information you need. Obviously, the channel has all the videos if you need to catch up. And of course, now we have the brand new Twitter. So if you'd like to follow on Twitter for live updates, potential highlights, still a lot to figure out with the Twitter, but we have it now. So there is going to be another avenue to check out content on DBZ League. And with that, I'm your host, DoorGuard.
I'm Donut.
Tosh.
And I am Djnuma. I'll see you guys this weekend too.
Ooh.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.